ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studio this evening. So tonight I'm going to paint this cute little betta fish for you. And in order to do that, I am using my Holbein paint set. You can see it off to the right there. I'm painting on B paper this evening. This is 6x9, a nice little sheet of pre-cut B paper, 140 pound, all cotton watercolor paper. This paper is really nice, provided you don't get it overly wet. I don't believe I'm going to be doing that tonight. If you get it a little bit too wet, it's going to buckle on you and go all over. But if you don't put too much water, like I said, you're totally fine with this paper. The brush that I'm using at the moment is a squirrel mop brush by Dana. This, I believe, is the number 6 squirrel mop brush. It's a very nice brush. Since I've switched over to using these squirrel mop brushes for initial washes and maybe even second washes on my paintings, I've had a lovely time painting with them. And this one is very nice. I like it very much. Now, some of you will recognize this fish as one I painted and posted on Instagram several months ago. I'm cleaning out a backlog of videos that I have on my computer and came across this one. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's any less good than any of the other paintings. Okay, well, here you go. I've dropped down from my squirrel mop brush and I'm going with a Zen Art Supply big brush. This is, I believe, a number 10 round. This is a pure synthetic brush meant to mimic squirrel. Doesn't quite get it, but still a nice brush. If you're doing larger size paintings, these Zen Art Supply brushes actually are pretty nice. All I'm doing now is I'm trying to get a little bit of shadow, a little bit of the lowlights onto this fish. I'm not really going for any dimension on it right now. Just want to get some lowlights on here. Start to position out where the underside, the belly of this fish are, where the different fins are, where I'm going to have to do a little finagling with the color to make one fin stand out in front of the other and whatnot. So that's all I'm doing here. Here you go. I'm going around that big giant dorsal fin, making the fin behind it just a little bit darker so that that lighter fin stands out. That's all I'm doing there. And blend that out with a little bit of water. There we go. Just setting the table for what's going to be coming up next. All right, I'm working in a little bit of rose madder, maybe a little of crimson lake. Those are two nice rosy maroonish red colors there. Just varying the color a little bit on this guy. I had a nice vermilion on the bottom layer of this fish. It's a nice bright orangey color. And this rose madder and crimson lake will dull that down a little bit and hopefully give the fish a little bit more body as I put that on there. You can see I just painted right around his eye, and here I'm going right around that pectoralis fin. I think that's what that fin is. And let's see, just I'm trying to keep the water from forming a hard edge or a tide line on here while I do this. Just filling in a little bit of color. I'm not really doing a whole lot other than still trying to define where those fins are, where the edges are that I want to look at or maintain, and where the lines are that can be softened out or let to blend in other places. So right up here on the top of this fish, right there, I've made the determination that I want to see the whole back of this fish. I could have left a little bit where the fin comes out, where that dorsal fin comes out, but I've made the determination I'm just going to take that all the way up, and then I'll blend in that dorsal fin with it, just like that. Let it come out. Then it's going to appear, hopefully, to be a little bit more in unison in one piece rather than one piece stuck on the top of another piece. Oh, what am I going to do? Nothing. Hang on a minute. I'm going to let everything dry. there it is, totally dry, and I'm back again. Now I can start to darken up some colors, working in a little bit of black in here just to darken this color up. This set of Holbein paints does not come with a gray. It doesn't come with a neutral or anything. The darker colors that I've got are black, Prussian blue, and I suppose burnt umber, the colors that would help to darken things up anyways. But in here I've used black just to help darken it up a little bit. And it also looks like I've stepped down my Zen Art Supply round brush by one size. This appears to be, I believe, a size 8 that I'm using now. Just continuing to do exactly what I did on the previous layer, just enhancing those lines. And I've got a little mixture of rose madder, a little crimson lake, and a little black in there to help define where we're at. I know this seems like a little bit of tedious work. We just did it in the previous step. We're going over it again now. We're going to be expanding this a little bit here. There we go. So that first layer really set the proportions and where they were at. The second layer is going to help me really flesh out all of the dimension of this fish. And if we put on a third layer, then that's just going to be highlights, lowlights, and finishing touches. There we go. I've just painted around the fin on the bottom there. You can see how it stands out from the fin behind it. That's one of the really cool things I like about betta fish is they've just got these huge flowing flowery fins that just kind of seem to float in the water like that. And there we go, darkening up the area behind that fin just to make sure it stands out, like I said. There it goes. I can still remember the first betta fish I had. It was a red betta, not too dissimilar to this, although he had blue undertones to him. His name was Lance. I don't know why I remember that, but that was a long time ago. I had Lance for quite a number of years. He was a great little fish. You probably were never supposed to do it, but I used to put him in front of the mirror and he would flare up his gills and push his fins out just like this fish is doing and get in that fighting stance. Now here, this is one big giant fin down here. I can pretty much do with it whatever I want and just let that come all the way out to the outside edge. Just let it flow all the way out. There's one big flowing fin back there. There we go. Let it dry a little bit. It looks like I may have painted an eye on it too. I think my camera shut down and I missed that little bit. Ah, yes, here we are. I'm going to yet another brush. This is a Da Vinci sable round brush. Looks to be maybe a number 2, something like that. Just putting on the beginnings of some of the ridges of these fins. Using a little bit of mineral violet there, along with my red to add a little darkness. Not going with any more of the black, at least on the top. I don't want the black to dull down the color. The mineral violet is very transparent. We'll darken it up just a little bit, but still allow all of that red vibrant color to shine through. There we go. And now you can see the method to my madness. If I ever turn it right way around, it looks as though there are some ribs inside those gills there. And that's exactly what I wanted it to look like. There he's adding a few extra little details to it here and there. There we go, and that fin on the top is all but done at this point. And you can see how the shading on the top of the fish and a little bit darker on the bottom of the fish, and leaving really that lateral area nice and white really gives a dimension to this fish's body. It's not quite like the picture, but that's okay. I'm not trying to do a photo duplicate of it. I'm trying to do my interpretation of it. And if I've got ribs on the fins on the top, I probably ought to have them on the bottom. I'm just dropping those in now. Like I said, this fin is huge. It looks like it goes all the way around this fish's body. There it goes. And just a little bit of that color to fill in between these ribs that I've just painted on. Well, maybe not on the fin behind it. There we go. Just take that off. A little bit of color and let that pull right out. I could paint in between each of the ribs that I painted on there, and that would suffice just as well. But if I give the color just a second to set, it'll fill in kind of between those all on its own, and then just let it come out like that. And blend it out pretty far. There we go. All the way out, almost to the edge. The edge of that fin is almost see-through, so it's very light, very, very light. All right, so now I'm mixing up a little bit of cerulean and a little bit of ultramarine, and I'm going to attempt to put a background on here. Just a very simple background. A little bit of blue. I can't have the fish swimming through nothing in the background, or I guess if it's all white, it'd be swimming through snow or something like that. So I'm just going to do a very simple background on this fish. There it goes. And Michael, thank you for sliding that from behind the palette. Helps out immensely. Boom, and that little bit of color behind it really helps you see where the edge of that fin is too. I should say that. All right. Now this, before I'm done here, I'm going to tell you this was shot on my old camera. I don't even use this camera anymore. It's been quite a long time since I have done this. Since I've used this, I now have a whole different setup here. Just give a little bit of some cross-hatching on here, representation of some scales, and that's about it. We're coming to the end of this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a fun fish to paint. I really like Bettas. Had a great time with this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know maybe it was not quite up to standard. You didn't get to see the eyes done. You didn't get to see the mouth done at all. But I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Thank you for staying around and watching the whole thing. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.